that is where the Bombers are going to be pushed in the absence of Dustin Fletcher.
Joel Smith on James Hird, Henneman on Thompson, Jacobs on Crowe, Graham's gone to Matthew Lloyd. And Lucas looks like it's young McFarlane, is it, Fish?
That's correct, Luke McFarlane. Big job for him tonight, but he's stood up very well so far this year.
And Ramanaskas on Crawford. Great to have a match where the one-on-one battles have been discussed and look forward to, and let's hope they do play a significant role. One-on-one footy back here at Colonial Stadium.
So the anticipation has been with us for 3 to 4 weeks. And now we are underway from Colonial Stadium. And Sean Wren gets the first tap, but the Bombers get the first kick, and it's Jason Johnson, who was great last week. Already it's deep in attack. Lloyd, what a start for the Bombers! 2 kicks and a goal.
What a great start indeed, and it started there in the ruck. Wren got the tap, but Jason Johnson, number 5 in the competition for centre clearances. That guy's awesome. And the Hawks are really going to be on their toes in the middle tonight to quell his influence. You see it on replay. A clean take out of the contest, push forward. The forwards in front, but a lucky bounce out the back, and Lloyd was ready to pounce. That's a great start for the Bombers.
Yeah, a couple of defensive errors there by the Hawks. That should have been marked, and it was just allowed to slip through. And Matthew Lloyd, he does a U-turn better than just about any forward in the business. Sean Wren decisively won that tap out, but they're not effective unless they hit your own man on the chest.
So the first goal took 28 seconds. Lord gets the Hawks into attack for the first time. Numbers with the Bombers across half-back. Not anymore. John Barker was swamped. Solomon. Hardwick went to ground in a hurry. Blumfield. Jason Johnson. Now, Brian Sheen was the non-controlling umpire. This is going on just a little bit off the play. And Brian Sheen came in to make the call for the high tackle. Or the indiscriminate tackle.
Well, they have to sort themselves out early. There'll be no one taking a backward step out there tonight. Not those boys.
Switch is certainly on here for Peverill. Takes the mark.
Peverill just playing off Daniel Chick. Looks like Wellman is picking up John Barker, also a match winner for the Hawks in recent weeks.
Pretty much all the players ahead of the play here as Jacobs goes looking for Lucas and gets him. McFarlane, as we said, has got the job on him.
Good start, Lucas. He was involved in that initial contest that got the first goal.
Gained some ground, went for Hird. Numbers back in front. Bowyer into the middle. Plenty of Essendon numbers there, though. This is Wellman. Had time to really launch something. In the end, he set it up looking for Lloyd. He's crunched. Spoil was from Graham.
Free kick, Lloyd. They've taken his run, and it looks very dangerous here for the Hawks because the Bombers are out looking as if they're in for the early kill, like they were against Richmond a couple of weeks ago, trying to knock one of the contenders right off the perch.
Well, this is where the real test sits for the Hawks. They've got to find their feet early in this match because the Bombers have much more experience with big matches that we see on replay. There's something there, and Lloyd is no doubt an expert at milking any opportunity comes his way. There may have been a little nudge there, but, well, as I said, the onus, big job for Mark Graham tonight on Matthew Lloyd. Mark Graham's been saved by from some of the big jobs with Jonathan Hayes, great form. And, well, let's hope he can stand up for the Hawks' sake.
Well, the Bombers, they are great starters. Matthew Lloyd for his second. No problems there. Bombers have got 2.
Well, that is a great start for the Bombers. Just what they'd be looking for. Unsettle the Hawks a little bit. And the answer's got to come out of the middle. And the Hawks are more than competent in this area. As we look at the replay. And there it is. Well, in an early game when the pressure's on, it's arguable, that one. But look, the free kick was paid. Good finish by Matthew Lloyd. 2 early goals. His confidence will be up. Challenge to Graham.
Well, there's the Essendon bench. They're pretty inexperienced tonight, the Bombers, with all the injuries. Some 7 players, under 20 games. But they've started superbly. Or crunch on half, and he rode the Moorcroft bump beautifully. Got to his feet, delivered for Dixon, who always attacks it hard. This time too hard, overrunning it. Courage shown by Hardwick, but also by the Hawks. The captain, Crawford, responds beautifully. Gets the handball wide for Dixon. He screws it back to the square. Pachoni! Through it goes for a behind.
Sometimes it's that one extra disposal. The question, Crawford arguably could have had a bit of a shot there, but they'll rush. Great pressure. The Essendon defence really is fantastic at putting the pressure on their opponents, and ended up being a rush behind.
I think the problem there was that Ben Dixon was desperate to get onto his left foot, and he just kept running wider, trying to get some space.
Well, no doubt the Hawks have to answer. They can't let the Bombers get away. That's what Melbourne did so well last week. They were competitive early with the Bombers and stayed with them all day. Salmon. Oh, good kick for Barnard. Had some space for Healy running for him. Again, plenty of space in the forward line. Can Graham stop Lloyd this time? He doesn't. Doesn't stop him at all. Third goal for the Bombers. Oh no, McVeigh. Oh, extraordinary miss.
Well, Matthew Lloyd showing his strength in that one-on-one again against Graham. Might be a little bit of a worry, but McVeigh's run very hard through midfield to get on the end of it. He'll be disappointed with that.
So the Hawks getting it to half back.
Not a lot of movement there, so he's just going to have to go long. Look for a long 50-50 contest.
Wren went forward, didn't get a free. McFarlane flew. Barnard well up the pack. Plumfield. Barnes had plenty going past, but decided there was too crowded for him. Tallis out onto the wing. Pachoni with a little bit of space. Mark Johnson hunting him down. Good wide kick for Barker, but brilliant stuff from Wellman. Judged it beautifully. And the Bombers, well, that's not well judged. Poor kick. Pachoni ducked his head.
Good decision. Play onside.
And it's out of bounds.
Excellent decision from the umpire. He did just drop the melonfish. When do you start thinking about maybe dropping a Trent Crowe back just to arrest the momentum?
Well, not just yet. I just think the Bombers, the Hawks need to settle a little bit. They've been a bit overwhelmed, but they might not be too far away if the Bombers get another goal.
Hardwick opening it up for Moorcroft. Much improved player. Lost plenty of weight this year. Great kick for Hurd. Maintained his balance and his footing. Kept his feet. Joel Smith did. That was the difference in the end. Hurd spots up. Barnard crunch.
What a kick and what a mark.
And what balance, Gerard, just as Anthony called, just kept his feet and just saw Barnard at the corner of his eye. Beautiful kick.
Love to know what sort of boots Joel Smith's wearing. Look how damaging a slip can be.
Quite right, Gerard. That certainly looks like he's got the moulders tonight.
In big games, you've just got to take, in normal conditions here in Melbourne, you've just got to take long stops in. One slip can cost you so desperately that it's not worth the risk, not worth the extra comfort.
Well, we all remember Paul Barnard in the grand final last year. 4 goals. He's continued on well this year. He's been accurate too. He's kicked 12 goals, 5. It's online.
It's home.
Bombers have got 3.
Well, Gerard, you mentioned Crowe may be going back. It'll be interesting to see how the Hawks hierarchy handle this, because there's some early matchup problems. Smith slipped. Hurd's so good in that one-on-one contest and so balanced that, well, and that was a great finish by Barnard, taking the chest. Just couldn't get an arm or a fist in there, dent, and a lovely kick in the end. So the Hawks with their troubles, with their headaches too.
Peter Swab, plenty of concerns early, obviously. The Bombers have kicked 3-1. The Hawks just the one behind. Nightmare start for Hawthorn in such a big occasion. Wren gets it to Harford. This looks more promising. Jacobs was in the road, did an outstanding job. Got it to centre half forward. Hurd again. Free kick. Is it Moorcroft's or is it Barnard's? It's Moorcroft's. Loves to get a free, does Gary Moorcroft.
They've had their opportunities, the Hawks, in the middle. They haven't been able to...
Oh, look at this.
Have not been able to complete the disposal out of the centre, despite the fact that Wren is absolutely dominating against Barnes.
Well, this is a real headache for the Hawks. Here's the free kick as we see it. Well, it's pretty light on there, but nonetheless, it was given, and Lucas somehow found himself free. I think McFarlane was covering for a teammate.
That's 4. Extraordinary start by the Bombers.
Well, Gerard, you mentioned the battle in the middle being clearly won by the Bombers so far. The Hawks are going to have to try and shut shop there a little bit. We'll see what their next strategy is.
Well, they
need to
tapped the ball forward, Fish. They had 4 blokes running forward. A fumble cost them probably a shot at goal. It turned around, lots of spare Hawks, sorry, lots of spare Bombers, and a glorious shot at goal by Scott Lucas, who has started the match pretty well.
Yeah, not much room for finesse in the middle tonight.
So does Peter Swab keep his nerve here, Gerard, and not make any moves, or does he start looking at changes?
Well, the Hawks have got to win the ball out of the centre, and if they can't get the ball into their forward 50 pretty quickly and get a goal or two on the board, I'd be putting Crow back just till quarter time.
Here he is. Got through, then he got taken well. Barnes, he kept fighting, but here's Johnson, and the Bombers are moving. That's a great interception. It was Lord that applied the pressure, and he's provided it for Bachoni. And quick kick from Barker is good. So they've finally got one, the Hawks.
Well, in the end, there was a bit of bobbing around with the ball. It was loose. Someone had to stand up and say, I want it. The Hawks did.
Aaron Lord, great smother.
Fantastic there. Great tackle. Got the ball clear. And the Hawks pounce there. Quick hands, two quick hands, and a good study by Barker, who's found his first kick for the night against Wellman. And an important one it was too. And to say the Hawks needed that is the first understatement for the evening.
Geez, the centre bounce has been so important because the ball has just been flying into the Hawthorn defensive area that they have had very little chance of stopping some shots at goal.
Hurd now in the middle there, Gerard, and Pebble moved back forward.
Barnes able to feed it through to Mark Johnson, and Barnard's loose again. Who's on him, you might say? Hurd streaming forward. He's got Lloyd on the lead. Graham should be able to spoil this time, and does. Gets it, easing it to the line. McFarlane takes it out.
I don't think Swabby should panic at the moment. I just reckon Hawks have just got to win the more one-on-one contests across the ground at the moment. Give it a good, good quarter or so.
As we said, Hurd with Smith, Peverill on Chick, Lloyd and Graham. Obviously, Graham's got his problems, but the other two look pretty reasonable at the moment.
Oh, bit of gymnastics by Moorcroft, but the footy remain with the Hawks. Chick, as we said, against Peverill. Not a great kick for the good of Dixon there, really. He was harassed out of it in the end. Well done, Solomon. Won the footy and kicked well for Lucas. Just couldn't take it, but he still goes. Lucas, bouncing ball offline. Through from behind. 4-2-26 Essendon, Hawthorn 1-1-7.
The other competitions they have to win, Jerry, Dixon versus Solomon. I mean, that wasn't a good kick, but the other ones have got to start winning across the ground. Yeah,
you've got to give your players a chance. Ben Dixon had the lead, had the break. Kick just needed to be better. I think all the matchups, the McFarlane on Lucas one is the biggest concern. He's only a young player. Big match, probably the biggest match he's ever played in.
Interesting stat already a few minutes ago. 20 midfield possessions to the Bombers, 7 to the Hawks.
Well, the mark wasn't paid. Dent takes it and gets it out further, out wide, where McFarlane able to grab it. And, oh, that's a dangerous handball. Barnard attacked it and kept on running. Can he keep it in? No.
Well, it's a high possession game they play, the Hawks. In many respects, their midfield is under the biggest microscope of all tonight.
There's a loose Essendon player inside their 50. The Hawks have got to adjust here. That's away from the screen, but if the Bombers get it in quickly, which they won't, so it doesn't matter. Smith running with it. Dent kept it moving. Tallis, he waited too long to get rid of it. In the end, had to go very short. Barker, Pachoni in the back. Very lucky one for the Hawks.
The Hawks' disposal skills have just been not up to scratch under the pressure that Essendon are applying.
Spot on, Gerard. It's the pressure that's causing this, and they need to find some loose link players to get some free run going.
Well, we know that Barnes runs everywhere. Here's his direct opponent, Sean Wren, trying to do the same thing. The long one was meant for Crow. In the end, didn't really get near him.
I think the Hawks are better off pushing into the corridor to give themselves a chance for goal. I think it's probably a negative kick, but it's, as I said, the options just aren't forward. The Bombers are flooding back very effectively.
4-2-26, that's Essendon. Hawthorn 1-1-7. Not quite at the halfway stage of the opening quarter. Harford. Thompson at the back. Dixon. Paid it.
They went through the whole team list there. It was anyone's in the goal square, you're right. Dixon's read it well out the back. Left footer, it'll test him.
He's also kicked 12 goals for the year. 12 goals, 9. Well, that'll test the umpire. He's run a long way across. He's given it. It's a goal.
Well, I'd enjoy seeing that one again. It didn't come off the boot very well when he ran around onto his right.
Not sure what the umpire was doing in the middle, but I reckon there was 70% guesswork and 30% good judgment. Good play, good start from Harford. If anybody for the Hawks is winning in the middle, it is Daniel Harford, who's had a few kicks all on his left foot at the moment. Let's have a look. Not sure about that, Fish. And I reckon the umpire's in as big a doubt as us as well.
Well, you mentioned Daniel Harford. He's number 7 in the competition for clearances. He's very important to the Hawks tonight to match the effectiveness of Johnson.
So centre bounce, Barnes favoured. Got the tap, but again, Harford involved. Bowyer just banging onto the boot. Wellman in front and takes it.
We just need that one to come to ground.
And they're running for him. Jacobs hesitated for a moment. This is Rioli now. He's got McVeigh ahead of him, but the Hawks have pushed back pretty well. Plenty of Bombers away to his left, in close, in short. Barnard, one of them. Back to Rioli.
The Hawks won't mind that, chipping around.
Oh, he's gone. He threw that, yes. And it was seen, and that's 50.
And 50.
That has to be 50.
Geez, that'll be a shot at goal. A gettable shot at goal. And
Harford once again there, boys. A good wrap-up on him. He's really focused tonight.
Well, I guess there had to be some question about whether Barnard knew the free had been paid, given that his focus would have been down the ground and the noise is so loud.
Well, the umpire will sometimes give you the benefit of the doubt, but the umpire was very close there, and it would be unlikely that Barnard didn't hear the whistle. I think, well, just ever so slightly crossed the line. So if Harvard does convert this, Hawthorn have pulled themselves, I know it's only early, but back into this game mentally, as well as on the scoreboard.
Considering that the Bombers kicked the first 4, there's a terrific reply by the Hawks. He's done well. That's 3 for Hawthorn now. And they're right back in it, just 7 points adrift.
Look, he really loved the big occasion, Daniel. He's one of those players born for a pressure contest. We see him here. He did very well to cover that there. He knew the chip was going over his head. He was the man on the mark when Rioli passed it across. And that finish there, he'll enjoy it. He's one bloke that can give the Hawks a real spark. And they need him, as we said, to fire up tonight, and he's doing it. He's doing the job so far.
Well, the Hawthorn players will be on much better terms with themselves now. The margin is back to 7 points. Barnes, Rioli, McVeigh, Moorcroft, Johnson, deep inside 50. Lucas out of position this time. McFarlane, Smith over the top of it. Who wants it the most? Lloyd a chance. Graham in the traffic. Gee, the desperation out there. Sometimes I guess it leads to a fumble or two.
Certainly it does. It's a hot potato in that situation. The Hawks are desperately trying to clear it, but curling towards goal when it's 20 yards out would give the Bombers a real good look at it. So they probably got what they wanted. It's a neutral situation, but they're going to have to be really carefully manned up tightly.
Wren watching Barnes very carefully. Was that a high tackle? It was in front of goal. Peverill to take it.
We'll have to look at it again because it was a poor bounce. There's been some discussion over the last few weeks whether they should throw the ball around the ground, and it could cost the Bombers, the Hawks, a goal here. But a little bit indiscriminate over the neck there, Gerard.
Yeah, it's a bit lazy in the finish by Sean Wren. And Damien Peverill couldn't believe his luck with this shot at goal.
And he makes no mistake. So that's a good answering goal for the Bombers.
He's been good, Peverill, for the Bombers this year so far in a run with role. But he's got a forward job tonight. He'll be happy with that. It's not the hardest goal you have to work for, but Sean Wren will know he's done the wrong thing there. He has reached and dragged. So unlucky for the Hawks there. Good answer from the Bombers.
Hawthorn made their first change. Johnson in now in the middle and Pachoni off. We see that all night. Those two players will probably swap every 10 or 15 minutes.
And Hurd into the middle has meant Peverill has taken his spot, and he's dragged Joel Smith right back to the goal line.
So volleyball out of the middle. Lord overrunning it. Here's Johnson. I like the look of him. The high one inside 50. Ramanauskas, Solomon made the spoil. Mark Johnson had Blumfield just gliding past. Barnard. Their skills moving forward have been so much better tonight already than they were last week, Fish. Moorcroft. That's not a great kick, though. Wren just got the fingernails to it. Rioli, you can see the momentum was with him. Here he goes. Can he get a handle on it? Can he get a handle on it? Yes. Didn't dispose of. Oh, he's got a free, has he?
He's got the free, all right.
He's got a free for holding. He didn't have clear possession. And McCabe had his jumper, it would appear. This is the situation. Hold his jumper there.
That was it.
Oh, well, a lot of Hawk supporters would suggest that's a little hard. But I think this would be the third. If he converts this, I'm interested in the stat. This could be the Bombers' third goal from a free kick within 30.
That is umpiring to the letter of the law. Most senior umpire out there has paid the decision.
Probably let go.
Rioli mustn't have liked the decision either. It came back late. I thought that was going to be a point. By
changed his mind midway through the kick.
through the kick.
Let's have another look at this infringement. Well, if footy is about playing those free kicks, we're playing a different game.
The kick onto the wing, Wren had to turn around. McVeigh didn't. Really good stuff against the big man. He's kicked it in very quickly. And this man, Matthew Lloyd, has already got 2 goals on the board.
I think he's too quick for both Graham and Joel Smith tried to cut his run there as well. He just has got too much strength and speed for both of them. It was a brilliant kick. I reckon Sean Wren, would that be a set change?
It's a set change, Gerard. It was off anyway, because that fella's been waiting to come on the last 2 or 3 minutes.
But just I've got the Hawks just looking around a little bit at the moment, and the ball's coming forward to where Lloyd is. The Hawks just got to go back to basics, keep their eye on the ball, attack it hard, and things will go their way.
Well, the Bombers have hit back very well.
Geez, he's striking them well, is Matthew. He is getting them out of the middle. It's a sweet sound off the boot there from Matthew Lloyd. He has had some good opportunities, but he is not just kicking them through the middle. They are going dead set through the middle.
Yeah, both sides are good marking sides. And in fact, Hawthorn #1 in the AFL, and Essendon #2 for contested marks in the AFL. So it's prevalent already in this game. Both sides marking well.
Great response by the Bombers here. Saturday night football, live around Australia. The top 2 teams, and so far the Bombers undermanned without Dustin Fletcher, as well as another long list of players from their grand final, are just showing the Hawks how to do it. Lucas, Peverill. Again, it's inside 50. Tough for Hurd. McCabe easing back. Takes the mark. Wanted to switch it with Dent. It was just a little dangerous. Now he will. Not sure about the value of it, though.
Manning up particularly well, Essendon, and they are just restricting the game style of Hawthorn that has got them so many wins.
Suddenly, they weren't in a much better position than the original kick. But Barker pushing up the ground. That means he's a long way from where he's dangerous up in the forward line. Solomon, they're leading him to the ball at the moment. Dixon left it behind. Harford, Dixon gets another crack and does well. Was patient enough and spots up Chick. He could have kept on going. Through centre half forward. Crode's well out in front. He is well clear and judged it well, and we must give credit to the kicker as well.
He's got the spare.
I've just been watching these 2 boys, Jacobs and Crode. They've been running up and down this wing. You know, plenty of spirit in both of these boys.
Well, they're both very good young players, and Trent Crode there pushed back hard towards goal and just floated out to the fat side of the ground, found space, and it was good vision by Chick in the end there.
Jacobs will have a look at that and just see that he lost his man temporarily.
So Trent Crode, such an important role tonight. Might have to go back at some stage, but that dearly love to keep him in front of goals with kicks like that.
Well, talk about Matthew Lloyd flushing them. That's a fantastic kick there by Crode. And with the tools like Thompson, Crode, Barker down there, Hawks really need to look longer with their work through midfield. There it is, fat side, wide open. Crode with a good finish there. And we saw Barker pushing well up the ground there to take that possession. I don't think that's a bad thing. They need to work up the ground, work around, run their defenders around, and provide an option for their under siege defenders coming out of defence.
It's a role Nick Holland plays so well, isn't it?
Certainly is.
Remember that he and Rawlings and Hay, of course, all out of this Hawthorn team. So Peverill continues to be a nuisance for his opposing teams. McVeigh, Rioli. The idea was right, not the execution. Hurd ducked his head. Umpire actually paid the free, then called advantage. Lloyd ordered Graham getting his back. Gee, it seemed like more interference than the one earlier. What was that from Blumfield? It was a throw. That's what it was, and the umpire picked it up. Lekis.
Well, try to see the signs of a flick pass there, Gerard.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
It was one of the classic old flick passes that I think the Bulldogs made famous through the 50s.
Still 6 minutes to go in this first quarter, so lots of time for any result by the opening quarter. Barnard got a bit of physicality from Smith. Blumfield worked his way to the front. Leckis was watching carefully, protecting the ball. Blumfield, he didn't stop Blumfield, setting up the Rioli.
Touched.
Oh, right on the line, Harford.
That's a good lesson for Leckis to learn there. He was hoping the ball would work over the line, but the Bombers are ferocious, their forwards. They really work hard to keep it in and keep it alive. They're the best in the business at it. Here it is. I'm probably being a little hard on Leckis, but really under there.
And Blumfield's hurt there, Paul. I'm just watching him now, and he's just grabbing his right knee at the moment. Keep an eye on him.
What's tough about that position for a defender is that he's got nowhere to go. He just can't, or he runs the risk of giving away a free kick if he dribbles it over the boundary line.
Gentle little shove in the back from McFarlane. Takes the mark. The Hawks have got a few troubles on their kick-ins. They just don't seem to have clear options. That time they got away with it. Johnson over the top. Barnard. Numbers with the Hawks. Crawford looking to come in and get on the end of it. Can't do that. Surely a bounce will be the result of this.
And the physio now running out to Blumfield trying to catch up with him, but he is certainly limping.
Just needs to get into the game a bit, the skipper.
Surprising to see Moorcroft in a verbal argument.
Shane Crawford just with the one handball. Nathan Thompson, the ball hasn't been down there directly to him too often, but he's yet to touch the footy as well. Maybe a run in the ruck for him.
Oh, Tallis. McVeigh was coming. Ramanauskas, who started that little movement forward. Lucas wanted a free. The Hawks eventually get it out the back. Long kick from Leckis. Numbers with Essendon. Tough for Crow that time. He was crunched in a three-man sandwich.
Got that.
Here's the chance for the captain. Oh, run down beautifully by Ramanauskas,
Dropped that.
who should have got a free kick, should have been rewarded. Still the ball is alive. Perhaps not for long.
Blumfield coming off, boys, and Corey McGrath going on.
Well, Crawford's injured. He should have been penalised first up, and then without doubt Ramanauskas should have he threw the ball away under pressure. Not sure why Shane Crawford didn't just handball it on. It was a real
First
setup.
option, yep.
He is quite holding his knee, which
That's not good.
let's have a look and see if we can see it.
Oh,
there
that's
it
it
is.
there.
I reckon it's a medial ligament. Hopefully that's all.
Well, that's not a good sign. We just saw Blumfield come off with a knee as well.
Yeah, they just checked him on the boundary line here. We'll see Crawford on screen here, and there's Blumfield there.
No, not a very good sign for the Hawks at all.
Let's take a look at this passage of play. What happened to Blumfield in the background there?
There was no hesitation from the Hawthorn medical staff to get Crawford straight off the ground, straight to the rooms.
Play restarting. Barnes able to take it away. Jason Johnson was terrific last week against Melbourne. Without Joe Mercedes alongside him, and Michael Long and Mercury.
And Blumfield too, boys, straight in the rooms as well. Keep up the date with both those boys.
So plenty of space in front of Moorcroft here. Calling for someone to give him an option. Mark Johnson eventually does. Harford back with the flight. Couldn't get near him. Does pretty well to hold him up without giving away 50. Moorcroft over the... Oh, shocking handball. He'll get a second take.
Well, still he's on his own. Moorcroft will end up getting this again.
Well, that's amazing, isn't it?
Well, the Hawks are flooding back. They're really not flooding back deep enough. They're covering top of the 50. And there's still big holes there in the forward.
And Lloyd's leading into one right now. And then it's covered up. Oh, he went short for Rioli.
He wasn't expecting it, Hutto. He got a big smile on his face. Yes, thanks.
Well, I guess that's one way to fool your opponent.
Well, this game, there's no doubt the Hawks have kicked it up a gear in the last 5 or 10 minutes and thrown out a challenge to the Bombers, but they just look more composed and more controlled going forward at the moment, the Bombers.
Rioli has got a remarkable record for accuracy in his very short career, and it looks like it's going to continue. That is a fantastic kick from Dean Rioli.
Certainly was a great kick, and Dipper mentioned it's like a gift there, landed on his chest, but he's finished off very well indeed. And and they've got lots of very good finishes in their forward half, the Bombers. There is a lovely strike at the ball. And the Hawks, early doors, it's a high-scoring game. 11 goals already kicked in its first quarter. And they're just to settle down, tighten up a little bit.
And at the other end of the ground, we just thought that there may well have been a free kick. First here against Crawford, you could argue perhaps he got rid of it legitimately, but that was just dropping the ball from Ramanaska. Should have been a free kick as the ball gets flicked out the back.
It does. The Hawks going forward. It's a dangerous last 3 minutes for them here. They were almost able to get back on level terms after the Bombers got away. But gee, Essendon have responded so well. Barnard.
Been a great player, just watching him develop, Barnard. 3 or 4 years ago, he's just a bits and pieces player.
Oh, he's flourished.
Now he is just he's a gun.
And of course against his old team tonight. Now that could have been taken as a mark. It wasn't. Johnson came through and a ball up.
You know, they're the little things, Hutto. I mean, Tim Clark went there with one hand. A lot of the Hawks players will be probably going for those marks over the past few weeks, so it's indicative of the pressure the Bombers are putting on. That's why they're #1 side in the competition.
And don't forget, as soon as the game's over, you can, or even during it, you can log on to i7sport.com.au for all the latest on AFL action, all the details, and the ladder and so forth. I wonder who'll be on top at the end of the night. Lord.
Good punch.
Taking it through the middle. Thompson had to present himself. He presented all right, but Henneman was right at him. Here he goes again. Good work. Tallis. Oh, the loose man is Crowd. Miles from Jacobs, who would run up the ground to help his teammates and perhaps provide an option if they did win the footy.
He's ducked out the back a number of times, has Trent Crowd, and this time it's worked to his benefit. Well, I thought Nathan Thompson set it up with his recovery. He made the mark, or the marking contest, and just have a look at this for recovery from the big man, favoured by the bounce. But you've just got to keep going, get the second effort.
It looks like Jacob's been drawn to the contest. He's created the shot. It's gone well wide.
Missed a lot.
But certainly Jacobs got drawn to a contest there, anticipating the turnover. It just reaffirms what we've been saying. They need to make these transitions quick and make them long.
Gee, that miss very costly right on quarter time. Mark Johnson off the left for Hurd. Crowd using his spring and got some support at the last minute, I think from Thompson, who came over the top. Made sure it went out of bounds. So a minute to go in this opening quarter. As Paul said, high scoring term, 7 goals for the Bombers, 3 goals for Matthew Lloyd. Outstanding. Corey McGrath in his first game. And that's a pretty nice kick to centre half forward. Plenty of Hawks there. They had the extra man, Rioli. Scrapped for it pretty well. That was a little bit of hanging on, was it? Which way? Hawthorn.
Looks like it.
And Darren Goldsbig had us all waiting there. McFarlane to take it.
Luke McCabe's got his work cut out too, Gerard, on a stronger, quick Dean Rioli.
O'Farrell got to the contest very well, brought it down. Johnson, that's the Hawthorn Johnson. Tallis.
Oh, those hands, the skills have let them down badly. He's had a poor night so far, Tallis.
He goes again, and he saw Lekis, and somehow he gets it to him. They've got 30 seconds to do something. Dixon was the target. He's too far, well, he's just too far out to score. Won't know that there's only 20-odd seconds remaining. Well, he was going to go for the pass. Now he sets it up. Crowd's on the long lead. He should get there.
Good.
Oh, he missed it.
Well done, John Barnes.
Well done, Barnesy, and that will just about do it for the quarter. That's pretty close to being deliberately out of bounds.
As well done, he just didn't have his eyes on the ball, didn't make contact, waved him around enough, and well, what was going to land on Trent Crow's chest ended up being just thwarted. There it is. Good play.
So only seconds remaining in the quarter. Johnson got the tap down, but it won't be enough for the Hawks. McGrath taking it over. And again, the siren about to sound for quarter time.
Well, the Hawks have hung in there, and the coaching staff have held steady.
What's your assessment then, Fish, with the siren about to sound?
Well, they're going to welcome the siren, I think, the Hawks. They need to get back in their huddle as it goes there and just work out what's been happening. I think from the vantage point of the coach's box, they can identify that the Bombers are running hard off their half-back. They're flooding back well as well. They're controlling the ball well through midfield now to the centre. So the onus is going to be put fairly and squarely back on some midfielders to get out of the middle more. provide more of a contest. But it's been quite enthralling, actually. I mean, the Bombers are most impressive, of course, going forward. Lloyd's been great with 3 goals. And the Hawks, well, it's not beyond them to challenge well in the second quarter.
7-4 then to 4-1 as we start this second quarter from Colonial. Barnes, check. Lord into the middle and gets them forward. Wellman in good position to spoil. Barker kept the feet. Johnson hits it hard and he's got runners on the wing. Ramanauskas.
Good hands.
Moved it quickly for McVeigh. It's going to be held up here. Okay, doing that and doing it well as the Bombers push forward as one. Lucas. Now he's got Dent as an opponent, so they've made an adjustment there.
McFarlane's gone to the smaller McVeigh.
Lucas just setting it up for the run of Lloyd. And the push and the shove of Graham. McGrath couldn't get on the end to it. And Lekas conceding the behind that time, taking no chances.
No, wise decision there by Lekas. Mature, experienced player doing the right thing. And Thompson's gone on into the ruck. And Croden, Barker and Barlow are the marking tools in Hawthorn's forward line.
I mentioned earlier, the Bombers zone here has been pretty effective so far, and that is going to be right on the line.
Ooh.
Dent taking the mark. Once again, the Bombers manning up very well. Absolutely nothing on for him. He has to go long, and really there's more Bombers than anything. Teller's going to have to fly with Hurd, and he did that pretty well.
Good
Barnard went to ground. He's on top of it. Hurd, Johnson, that's Jason. And now a bounce, so they need to work something out of that coming out of defence, Paul.
Yeah, there's not a lot of run from behind, but what the Bombers are doing very well, they're covering the Hawthorn switch options out wide. So they're forcing the Hawthorn team to go long down the boundary and creating these neutral situations. So,
which is totally different to the way they've been playing for the first 8 weeks, isn't it?
Certainly is.
That's where they've switched it so well. Hurd, Ramanauskas, Tellis just making the kick slightly ineffective. Oh, wasn't ineffective at all. Lloyd, Lucas can unload. He centred it. Very disciplined. McVeigh waiting at the back.
Well, they are so very, very good with their foot skills, aren't they, Gerard? A great switch inside there. And McVeigh, for a guy who's 5'11", 6 foot, marks very well overhead.
I think that is what made it, despite the fact that Lloyd really did turn it on. Good kick from Lucas, but look at this for strength. Question the free kick. Umpire declared it okay, but great strength in the marking from young McVeigh.
Well,
missed.
He likes it.
Nope.
It's a goal.
Well, it's cutting a bit fine. That's not what the Hawks wanted. They really needed the first goal in the second quarter. If you look at the replay, Lloyd really set this up with his strength in the contest around the ball. And Lucas, we know, likes to run and carry, but he did the right thing on this occasion, switched inside. And McVeigh against a lighter Tim Clark in the one-on-one, and certainly kicked to his favourite side. So McVeigh, good mark, good goal.
So Matthew Lloyd's had 3 kicks, he's kicked 3 goals, and he's been very influential in that goal there. The Bombers 8-5, the Hawks 4-1. So Fish said Thompson doing the ruck work, and now the roving. A tough one, Bowyer. Wellman playing in front consistently tonight. Barker did well to apply the tackle, but Wellman kept on going. Well done, Sean Wellman. Johnson onto the wing. Bombers are flying now. McGrath, well tackled. Barnard has been brilliant. Gets it off for Johnson. Pumping it. Hurd, he's lurking. He is lurking here. He just couldn't break through. Yes, he could. Never say never with James Hurd. And the ball over the boundary line.
And down on the boundary line, Dipper, you've got some news for us.
Yeah, look, both players obviously won't be back on for tonight, but Justin Bloodfield, like Joe Massey, posterior cruciate at the moment, so bad news for him. And with Shane Crawford, looks like a medial ligament there, Gerard. Bad news for the Hawks as well.
Rioli into the square, Lloyd again. Graham made the spoil that time. Oh, a ricochet. McVeigh couldn't be as accurate this time, and it's out of bounds on the full.
Well, they need a bit more voice, obviously. Just from up here, it just seems to be a lack of communication. Clark probably had a chance to pick it up. There's plenty of numbers around the ball, but that's what pressure will do.
I think that's the accurate point there, Fish. Under pressure, the skills just haven't stood up here for the Hawks.
Well, Harford run a long way, but he had no clear option on. The Bombers, as we've said, have just stopped that switch. Now, is that a throw or is that okay? It's okay for the moment. Peveril, well, either in the back or possibly holding the ball. Darren Goldsmith says neither.
I think they've got to find another role for Daniel Chick. He's been one of their driving forces all season, but where most times he's been manning up on somebody else. Tonight he's been the hunted, and he hasn't fired a shot just today.
And once again, Gerard, it's young Peveril again. He's had some good scalps in the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Extraordinary to think that he could be back on the rookie list by the end of the season. Somehow I doubt it. Joel Smith breaking clear, getting the ball moving. I think Tallis, Hardwick.
He ducked.
Over the top. He did duck, but he's going to get a free kick.
You're right, Gerard.
Sorry, Fish.
No, not at all. Gerard's right. He ducked, he moved forward, and the force from behind him probably amplified the push.
Heard the target again. This time the second man in was Dent. Bowyer, Moorcroft bearing down. Was that in the back? No.
Couple of second quarter matchups. Wellman continues to hunt Barker, Barnard and McFarlane in this term, and McCabe stays with Dean Rioli.
Thompson and Barnes. Hurd just released it out.
Good tackle.
Moorcroft, Barnard, Chick, Tallis.
Just got it.
Nothing doing in there. Bowyer, Barnard, just so influential. That time, bounced just inside the line. So far tonight, Paul Barnard has had 5 kicks, 5 handballs, 6 marks. So 10 possessions and 6 marks and a goal at this stage.
He's been very good. He went to the contest. His opponent, McFarlane, dropped back into the hole. Geez, they're very good around those hard ball gets the Bombers.
Bombers dominating at the moment. Barnes setting up another chance. McVeigh missed it. Rioli didn't miss, but Graham just stopped it in time. Lord. Now, can this be a bit of run for the Hawks off half-back? Dent looking up. He's got Barker at centre-half forward. Couldn't get it to him. It was just too far to carry. Had to go short into Lord, who started the run. Made some trouble for Barlow. Did pretty well then, Chris Barlow. And the kick is pretty good.
Spot on.
So Barker in his favourite pocket, but too far out to score. More Bombers back than Hawks. Dixon attacked it very nicely.
Good signs there for the Hawks. It's the first time they've been able to implement their style of play. Their skills stood up under that occasion. Chris Barlow actually looks a lot more comfortable under the pressure of the midfield battle than a few of his teammates at present.
You're right, Gerard. They certainly look much better as we see the replay there. Good hands by Ben Dixon. They look much better when they've got a break out of defence. They've got an opportunity to run, find the loose men. There are earlier options. But ultimately, Ben Dixon has the ball in his hand, has a chance.
So desperate for Hawthorn here that he converts. Never had a chance.
Well, you're not understating it there, Huddo. It was a critical kick, but Ben wasn't up to it on this occasion. But that was, let's hope for the Hawks' sake that is a positive sign. The transition there, they caught the Bombers on the back foot a little. But they've been all over them like a rash tonight, the Bombers.
Hello, there's a... No, all right.
Special comments, Robert Dippy.
Yeah, no, there's a free kick downfield, I think, Gerard.
No,
it's a blood field. There you are. I saw Darren Goldspink run towards Tomo.
Just repeating for those that have joined us late. Dustin Fletcher, a late withdrawal from the Essendon side. Of course, Blake Carosella also out from last week's team. James Hurd, despite all the fact that he didn't train during the week, is playing.
Why wouldn't Sean Wren have started, Fish?
Well, I think they're looking for a mix-up, though. Obviously, concern was the centre clearances in that first quarter. Thompson's shown on a number of occasions here. He's a very capable ruckman. Goes in there, he can change the tide of the game. So they've given him a chance, bit of a blowout. He wasn't getting much of it up forward, as you know.
We should also mention that Crawford and Blumfield have knee injuries suffered so far in this game. We'll get more on those as the match continues. McVeigh. Again, Barnard the target. Good work to just knock it to ground from Barker and keep the ball alive for the Hawks. McCabe, Bowyer, oh, not much to kick to. Didn't make it anyway. That actually might have worked out better for the Hawks. It was touched off the boot. But there was plenty of Bombers, and that's where they like to just gang up across half-back.
They certainly do. They make it very hard for the opposition side to penetrate that line.
And Jonathan Robin now on for his first run. Pushing up forward.
Brett Johnson also on for the Hawks.
Gets a chance here. Wellman, Bowyer, Johnson out of bounds. Once again, a reminder about i7sport.com.au. Always a member of the Channel 7 commentary team in the chat room on Sunday night. Gerard was there last week. We've never had so many hits.
Very comfortable it was, Hudder.
Chick. Now it's close to the line. Barlow. Squeezed under all that was Damien Peverill.
Well, it's an interesting start of the game now, particularly for the Hawthorn team. They need goals, and they need to find them somehow. Their avenues to goal haven't been very decisive so far.
Ramanasca's by himself out here from outside the pack.
Hardwick, more hope than anything in that handball, but it was pretty good. He might have heard the voice of Peverill. This is Ramanasca's. Good shepherding by Johnson. Can pump it long. Lloyd looking dangerous. What a screamer. Mark not paid. It was McFarlane, who was noted as a leaper. Johnson, he had the runners going by. Instead, he went straight to centre half forward. Barker provided the contest. Johnson well tackled. Hardwick in support. Got the handball for Wellman. And they've got runners. Henneman, we haven't seen much of him so far. His first touch, in fact. Rodron just on the ground. Father, of course, honoured during the week with legend status, and that's a legend of a kick. Lucas takes the mark. 60 from goal when he will stand up.
I think it was Johnson that just bombed that ball to centre half forward for the Hawks. He really just gave it away. They had their game plan set up. They had numbers running into the forward line, and to bomb it forward really was just a kick and hope.
And Sean Wren boys are coming off again for Thompson.
Well, Scotty Lucas, we know he can cover a lot of distance. Got very close to the man on the mark there and does push it across a little bit. Either out on the full or out of bounds or a point, and it's the latter.
Interesting matchup. Matthew Dent has certainly got his work cut out on Lucas. Not up and down with pace, Denty, but it will be in all sorts of trouble if the Bombers can hit it into their forward 50 with any sort of pace and speed.
Oh, that's dangerous. Peverill made the spoil. Rioli back to Peverill again. And the hands were pretty good for Moorcroft. They kept it moving, and Rodron finishes it off. And the Hawks are in trouble.
In trouble, all right, Hutto. It's a great finish, and Jonathan Robbins just come on the ground with his first kick. Gets a goal. Really something needs to be done with the Hawthorn midfield. They need more run. They need to transition that out of defence a bit better, but the Bombers are putting a lot of pressure, as we see there. They just keep it alive. They always have players running forward to the contest, always options. And a great finish, Johnny Robrin. Be very, very happy with that indeed. So this is where it counts, centre bounce.
I think they've got to bolster the defence. Crode's the obvious answer. Wren could go to the forward line. He's been inspiring up there on a number of occasions. He may be lacking in a bit of pace, could be exposed, but they've got nothing to lose right now, the Bombers, and they've got too much inexperience in their defence.
Big problems for the Hawks here at Colonial Stadium. They've got the run from half-back. Oh,
this is unbelievable.
McFarlane out on the full. And that is the definition of a clanger.
Never even bothered to look inside where Nathan Thompson had a paddock and a corridor.
Barnard, what a leap. The momentum with Solomon. Must get a free kick. Eventually he does. Just hanging on to him for an eternity. The lead quickly comes from Lucas. Again, he's looming. Oh, he just read it beautifully.
And Luke McKay put his hand up and said, I might have got a finger on that.
They are so clinical, the Bombers. They are very impressive, even with all these players out of the side. Conversely, the Hawks are, well, what would they give for Rawlings and Hay to be in the side tonight with the sort of pressure the defence is under?
I don't know why you ever doubted the Bombers, Fish.
Never doubted them, mate. Maybe a little bit off the mark.
Well, it's been, I mean, we must give the credit to the Bombers here, but gee, the Hawks have been ordinary, haven't they?
Oh, certainly, and I think that's a consequence of the pressure and the style of the game the Bombers are playing.
Now let's watch the kick-outs this time. It's been a major problem for them tonight. The last one, of course, led to a goal by Robrin. The umpire gives in the whistle. McFarlane, he's got to beat Hurd here and Ramanauskas. In the end, he had to punch. The result was all right. Lekas. Thought it might have been touched off the boot, but obviously it wasn't.
The play on here too, because no one will be on Healy here.
Lucas leading into the pocket. Lloyd stays back in the square. Goes for both those players. Lloyd's got the ride. Had the judgment. Graham. Lloyd.
Well, you know, when Essendon are coming forward, looking at the way the Hawthorn players are positioning themselves, they don't look like they're manning up or getting a zone quite right at the moment. They're just a little bit caught between a rock and a hard place, and it's indecision.
The only thing in Hawthorn's favour at the moment, and it might not be, is the fact that there's still a long, long way to go. But there's no sign that anything's going to get better. Lloyd pushing and shoving, and Graham very happy to get out of that. The only problem is that means it's now a Hawthorn kick in again.
As you said, credit to the Bombers. There's plenty of movement in their zone, and they're just not allowing the Hawks much space. And there's not much movement in the Hawks. We're looking at a few wide leads. Yes, Dipper.
You got Thompson forward. You got Wren up on the bench. Who's in the ruck, mate? We've got McFarlane out there, Will.
Well, we've got Thompson taking the centre bounces, and we'll try and pick up who the running player is running around the ground as a ruckman.
Johnson up onto the wing now. Here's a chance for Crowe. He hasn't got much in front of him. He just had to release it quickly and hope. Thompson. They're so good off half-back, the Bombers. They just team together and then they run. And run is what they're about to do. Oh, Hardwick fell over. Unfortunate for him. Ramanauskas was the man who was outriding and would have taken it away. In the end, he was happy to settle for an out-of-bounds result on the wing.
Even when the Bombers fall over, they still get it to their man.
Yep.
Well, nothing's going wrong for the Bombers. Everything seems working. What Ramanauskas did then, as we see the replay, Hardwick slipped over, but still. Whew.
A foul about to come on. It looks like Barker doing this ruck work around the boundary line.
Barker it was, as you said, getting the clean tap. Johnson waited. That time he didn't just bang away blindly. Gave it to Bowyer, who banged away blindly. So they delayed the inevitable.
Well, there's absolutely no system for the Hawks so far.
Hardwick has a second crack. Robran the target. Bowyer, Robran, McFarlane, Solomon. They can do the lot at the moment. They're just controlling the footy. Jason Johnson found a path. Lloyd. Dent did well to get the first hands. Lucas, wobbly one, and misses. Really, it could be all over by now. They've had their chances, the Bombers.
Certainly have. Hutto 9-9 to 4-2. Look at the replay here. Graham's done a fair job on Lloyd. Lloyd's got a couple of goals from free kicks, but that's where Lloyd's been good. He stays in the contest, and he's been able to feed out very well indeed.
Graham somewhat awkwardly takes the mark. Harford running past to provide another option. They just need to use these options along the wing and do as they've been doing in the first 8 weeks, the Hawks. Johnson trying to do that for them now. Linking up on the wing. There is a switch on, but it's a long, long way to the other side to get the switch across. Lekis it is, who's on the other side of the ground. Instead, they stay on this side. Barlow. Still no movement ahead.
Tend off for O'Farrell.
Barker's leading them into the pocket now.
Trent Crode's come into defence.
Well, not much movement forward. The Bombers have floated back again. They set up so well.
In the end, he bombs it very close. Thompson. Oh, Wellman. Not worrying about taking one grabs tonight, Wellman. Just flicking it around. Oh, ball handling from Robran, outstanding. And the pass from Hardwick was beautifully measured. Rioli and now Jacobs just waited. He knew there'd be an option soon. Robran kept on running. He could unload and have a shot instead. He goes for the pass. Lloyd wants a free. He's going to get it. Graham looks exasperated. But Lloyd is very well drilled.
Well, there's a lesson to do any full forward. You get front position, you always got a chance. If it's not a mark, it's sometimes a free kick. You can draw them. And Lloyd has on a number of occasions tonight. Although Graham's doing his best under trying circumstances, because when it comes forward, it's coming forward very convincingly. Look at the replay here.
He's very good at it.
Yep. And he's been kicking the ball very well.
The other end of the ground hasn't been a lot of action. The Hawks haven't kicked a goal since the 23-minute mark of the first quarter. That's 29 minutes now without a goal.
And that is as good as it gets. 4 goals for Matthew Lloyd. 10-9-69 to 4-2-26. Bomber fans in full voice.
And so they should be, the Hawks, if they need it. And I'm sure they didn't need a wake-up call. The Bombers are giving it to them tonight. Robin's very good on both sides. And Lloyd, strong lead at the ball. And a great finish. He's kicking the ball very well indeed. Hawks, a lot of work to do.
Hawks are taking a pounding at Colonial Stadium. Saturday night football. We thought maybe a preview to what we might see in a more important month later in the year, but so far it's been a complete demolition, and it continues. Rioli, Lucas, Lloyd. Again, he was playing for the free. Crowd likewise. No whistle. Joel Smith. Bowyer. Again, they brought it out to this side of the ground, but there's more Bombers ahead of them than Hawks. He'll have to go short here to Lord, surely. He does by hand. In the end, Lord was going to be flat-footed, and he just bombs. Barker. Johnson, Rioli. Oh, he's given that up. Hardwick. Bombers just teaming up so beautifully tonight. Jacobs looping it up. Lloyd. Was that a free? No, it wasn't. Graham. Some relief. Johnson handled it pretty well. Maybe they've got a path through centre half forward this time. Dixon's pushed very wide. In the end, he had to really go hard, and Moorcroft was always going to come in. It was 3-on-1. In the end, the handball wasn't all that great. Put Wellman under pressure. Well done from Barker. Kept it alive for the Hawks. Lord, they need someone to stand up and do something inspirational, and at the moment it doesn't look like coming. Instead, all the inspiration is coming from the Bombers. Moorcroft, Salmon gets it quickly. There's loose men everywhere. Robran takes it. Hurd's down there. Could go for him. Could go for Ramanauskas, or he could go short to the man running down. There's a little fingernail onto it. Stop Peverill from taking the mark. Doesn't matter. Scotty Lucas went for a right foot goal. We've seen a lot tonight. We won't see that.
Well, the Hawks are getting cruelled on the turnover, and they're giving the Bombers plenty of opportunities. They just seem to not be trusting themselves, much following their instincts. The run's gone out of their game. They're not running and sharing it. I'd like to see the handball counted. It's way down if they're handballing, it's under pressure. So, well, if it's easy to say, if the team ever has to trust their instincts to get themselves back in the game, take a few risks, it's the Hawks.
Well, they've got the ball to here a few times, but it's going any further that's been the problem. Dixon. It was a strong lead.
Great mark.
A strong lead. The mark's been paid. O'Farrell.
He's been playing a lot of his footy for the Box Hill Hawks early this season as a forward. He's got a very good pair of hands, and he's a fine reader of the play.
How's his kicking? That's all important here.
No, that's all right too. I'd be confident to back him in from here.
Well, he hasn't quite had the Paul Salmon-like build-up. Much quicker. Unfortunately, he's missed it away to the left. Maybe he should have taken a bit longer.
Well, the positive sign was there. There was a direct, strong lead up the corridor from a forward. The finish wasn't there, but you've got to get the positives.
They need more than just a few positive signs, though. They need goals on the board. They need them quickly. Barker's going to have to defend here, and he doesn't. Well, he couldn't. He tried. Henneman was the third man in. Has his second possession for the night. Hardwick has had plenty of them. 15, in fact. Barnes. Moorcroft. Hurd. Didn't need him. Might now. Good kick from the great kick from Hurd. It's a good lead. But it was just a fantastic kick, beautifully weighted.
Hawthorn players, Gerard, are just dropping off their men 10 yards behind them. The Essendon players will use them coming downfield. Then it draws the Hawthorn player to them, and the space is over the back. And that's an easy space, easy hole. It's clever football. I mean, we know the sort of player James Hurd is, Gerard.
Yes, well, that was unbelievable. The way he just held it back until Lloyd had decided which way he was going to go. And he's just proving to all and sundry that there is a bit of wind inside this stadium.
So Matthew Lloyd has kicked 4. And we're not even at half-time yet. Now he's got 5. And the Bomber domination continues.
Well, I don't care who you are. If you're on Matthew Lloyd tonight, you've got your work cut out in no small way, because why the Bombers are just, when they gain possession, able to find a loose man, run, feed. The Hawks just seem a bit late on the scene. Even when the game runs to sport, Hutto, you called it a little earlier, 3-on-1, the Hawks just aren't getting the numbers to the contest. And paying a heavy price indeed for it.
Not even half-time, and the Bombers have blown this game to the proverbial.
They have indeed, and it's all started in the middle there. The Hawks midfield has been almost impotent in this match, and that is where they're going to have to lift if they're going to get back into it. But right now they are just devoid of confidence.
Tallis, oh, he has a bounce when he had Lucas bearing down. He had Rodman from the side. Extraordinary decision-making from the Hawks at the moment. They are just about shot to pieces at the moment. McFarlane just banging it away. They are completely shot to pieces.
Barnard in trouble, boys, in the back here.
Conversely, the Bombers are just running and streaming. That's pretty dangerous. Lloyd ducked the head. It was dangerous because Barnard could have got collected. Bowyer, nowhere to go. Oh, he went to Paccioni. He was hiding behind the umpire out here.
He's also grabbed his knee at the moment there, lads, and well, he'll be coming off. Trevor will be coming back on.
Just good work by Barnard there. He's still manning up.
Look at him.
As well as the Bombers are going, the injury count is a real concern. Already Blumfield off, and now Barnard coming off. That's a real worry looking into the future.
Well, Joel Smith's kick didn't hit the target, but they've got nothing to lose. He's probably their most skilled midfielder out there, or player capable of playing in the midfield. I'd chuck him into the game and let's see if he can create something up forward.
Tallis goes short, finds his man. Thompson too far out to score.
They're running into one another's space. As you said, they lack cohesion. 3-on-1 again.
The one almost prevailed, but in the end it was Sean Wellman. And look at the loose men out here on the wing. Peveril. It's a high one, too high, in fact, for Bolton, who came on.
Plenty of loose men for the Bombers, Hutto, because the Hawks have got half a dozen players just floating around that half-back line, fumbling the footy.
One feels it might be a little late for that now. Chick. Thompson.
Good.
Well, he didn't mark it, but he did well enough. Controlled the ball. Can they get a goal for the quarter? The answer is an emphatic no. When you consider the Bombers gone in tonight with 9 players without 9 players from their grand final last year, if you include Darren Bewick, who retired, they've now lost Blumfield and Barnard. It's just frightening if they get most of them back.
Oh, it certainly is frightening. Everyone, the whole competition is aware of that, and the Hawks also paying a price for their key position players out of the side. But even regardless, Gerard, the Bombers, irrepressible.
They are playing magnificent footy, Fish. It's most impressive, and what's of greater benefit to the Bombers is that all these kids are getting experience. Hutto, you had the figures before. I think 7 under 30 games and 11 under 50. But these sorts of build-ups and these sorts of matches count for plenty.
There's one of them, Rob Forster Knight. Left it behind into the last 30 seconds of this half. And what an absolute nightmare for Hawthorn.
Well, you've got to look at it as a dramatic learning curve for the Hawks. It's the only way you can do it. As Barnard hobbling around, that doesn't look good. It doesn't look good indeed for Paul Barnard. And the learning curve is how to cope with a big game against quality opposition and stay true to your game plan and maintain confidence and team harmony out there, because they are just not playing. They just look rattled, unsettled. And there's the siren to finish the first half.
And it couldn't have come quick enough for the Hawks. They can go into their rooms and just reassess where they are. They didn't kick a goal in that quarter.
As you mentioned, Fish, the injury list for Essendon just continues to mount. It's an extraordinary amount, and of course we know how important Crawford is to Hawthorn.
There's no doubt about that, Hutto. It's going to really test. Well, it's already testing Essendon's depth, but how deep do they go? We've already got some early matchups on the field, and McFarlane's gone forward for the Hawks in this quarter, trying to increase the goal power. Thompson's back in the forward line, Wren back into the ruck.
And what about Chick there, boys? I think he's on Lucas down the back here.
Well, he might as well be, Dipper, because he's been ineffective in the middle of the ground. They've got to throw it right around and throw caution to the wind.
We've seen 2 great comebacks this weekend already. Are we about to see the best of them all? One would doubt it, but the Hawks have got to be firstly more competitive and then worry about the scoreboard.
Yeah, quite right, Hutto. They've just got to get their game back together. And in the first half, well, Mum always used to say, if you haven't got something nice to say, then don't say it at all. There wasn't much nice to say about the Hawthorn form, but let's look for some early signs in the second half.
Bombers inside 50. Barnes was the late man on the scene. Piccioni, Tallis. Got some room for Johnson to work in. And he found his target very nicely. Barlow. Well, they've peeled off down the ground. There's not much on offer. He went for Piccioni, but he went underground. Hurd just slipped in the road. Lloyd's got to look at the space. The space, oh, he kicked into the man on the mark. Harford did well to run it down and uses it well. Now Bowyer has got to go.
Give it.
He waited too long. Crowd, can he get there? McFarlane was there as well. Henneman well tackled in the end by Crowd. Solomon, persistence for Dixon. It's out of bounds.
Well, Glenn Bowyer has just ignored the lead of Trent Crowd. It was a 30-metre kick onto the chest. He held the ball until Trent Crowd was out of position and then put it in the air.
He just takes sometimes a fraction long just to get the ball right, doesn't he, Bowyer?
He does a little bit, and it can bring him undone, but his foot skills have improved out of sight.
McFarlane worked well then to give the Hawks a chance. They can't capitalise.
Well, we are looking for signs, and we've got to look for them as best we can with the Hawks. And early in this third term, as early as it is, they've at least been a bit harder at it already.
Yes, they have, and they'd want to be. They got it inside 50 at least. Johnson, it might bounce. Oh, it did bounce. Well done, Dixon, to take it. Shrugs off Hardwick, and then it was a strange little cross. Piccioni rode the wave.
Oh.
Barlow's handball somewhat fluky. Thompson waited till he found his man, which was good play. Lord almost to the line. Crowd. Oh, the post.
Barlow in trouble with a low dislocated shoulder or AC joint or something. Keep an eye on him. Left shoulder.
Barlow that was it?
Yeah, that's
Yes,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Hasn't got that bad. He's just.
I think you're right, Dipper. He's been shaken up.
He's looking to the bench. I know, maybe he's looking to his teammate. I'm not sure, but we'll keep an eye on him. Solomon, meantime, bombs for the wing. Plenty of Hawk numbers there. Rodman did everything but take the mark. Jason Johnson. Again, players running ahead. Barnes better watch out. Bowyer bearing down. Didn't give the freeway. Barlow makes a remarkable recovery. Tallis on 50. Just hesitated, then kicks for Thompson. It was a good kick in the end. And Nathan Thompson can go back and shoot for goal.
Better play from the Hawks all round, though. They had some numbers. They've turned the ball over a couple of times. Harford's got a smother on Hurd. There was a turnover, and this time it was Barlow getting it on. And Tallis just relaxed a little bit. Wasn't rushed in his brain, and he made the target.
You're quite right. Just the comment there, Gerard, of numbers. They just seem to be getting more numbers at the contest early in this third term, and they're going to need to because the Bombers have been much the better side at the contest, at the disputed ball.
Thompson's kicked 7 goals, 12 going into this kick for the year. And that's a better one. Didn't look that great, but it's a goal.
Well, that'll do his confidence the world of good and the confidence of the Hawthorn team because they just didn't have any space in the first half to talk about forward. And that turnover in the midfield there, the only way the Bombers will bring themselves undone if they start to over-finesse. It hasn't been their style in the past when they've been in front, but it just may give the Hawks a bit of a look, and a bit of a look might be all they need to make this scoreline just slightly more respectable.
And some credit for Harford too, who was involved in the original smother on James Hurd to get the ball down the ground. So the Hawks have got the first one of the second half. They need the next 4 or 5 and need them quickly. That's a big kick. Solomon one-on-one down there with Dixon. He did the wrestling well. Crowd, he's got some space. He just needs to work onto his teammate in Lord, but missed it. Barnes showed them the footy and then set up McVeigh. Just got it on. Solomon, they're away but not for long. Barker with time here to use the ball. Now he had a couple of usable options just on the ground. He waited a little bit too long and then his kick was poor. McVeigh.
You keep looking wide rather than inboard.
You've got to look inside at times because the options are there. Just rushed it a little bit.
Well, you can't get away from the fact, if you're a Hawthorn supporter or a neutral observer from this match, that there are so many inexperienced kids out there that Hawthorn are just playing well and truly below themselves. We eulogise, we lord over and wrap up this Essendon side, and it is a great one. But you can't get away from the fact, Hutto, that there are so many kids out there.
I mean, it's a different team. It's half the side gone from the grand final last year. And yet, they've played superb footy. But as you said, they are young kids.
Look, it's a high calibre of player from Essendon. It is missing. It's not necessarily to say that they'd all been the best lineup this year, but most of them would, you'd have to argue.
Yeah.
But the Hawks look a bit overawed, as Gerard is saying. They haven't had the big game exposure that the Bombers have had. Nonetheless, some just basic fundamentals of the game plan have broken down under quality pressure.
You know, Swabby, having played on him, under him, would he have given them the spray at half-time?
Oh, certainly would have. I feel he would have been reinforcing the need to be harder at it and get there in numbers and do some of the basic stuff right. But they tended to ignore through the pressure that was created.
Good, wrapping it up. Another ball up.
Seems to me a lot of the wounds have been self-inflicted for Hawthorn, though. Their disposal has been pathetic, really. I mean, you can't sum it up in any other way than, and whilst it's not very subtle, that's exactly what it has been, and has led to the downfall. If your disposal is shocking, then you can't build confidence, you can't get forwards to lead, your run stops because the ball just doesn't hit targets. But you can turn it around quickly.
Well, the margin's 40 at the moment. Harford's kick, was that a shove in the back? No, umpire let it all go. Everyone was looking around. There was no umpire right there to give a free.
A couple of different matchups, as you said, Fish. Chick is on Lucas, Rem with Barnes in the middle, and Jacobs on Nathan Thompson.
Really, you wouldn't mind seeing Hawthorn make this an ugly game for a little while to really reassert some presence on it.
I'd love them to make it a fantastically pretty game and kick 5 in a row just to give us some competition, Fish.
Hardwick bombs away. Robram had one hand held back. Barlow, Harford, McVeigh was stronger at the footy on that occasion. Joel Smith ran past it. Hawks in numbers on the wing. A little kick was all right in the end, and this is Johnson, who's probably been one of their best players, certainly numbers-wise. He's had 11 possessions. Barker takes the mark. Now they're coming to the space side, and that's a good grab from Thompson. He has got the height advantage, of course, on Jacobs, who is deceptively quite tall. But Thompson, of course, a ruckman or a forward, and that's a good kick, except that Dixon is right against the boundary line, or close to it anyway.
Well, it's a positive kick. It's positive movement in the forward 50 for Hawthorn. They haven't had enough forward thrust to take full advantage of them, but when they do, they just haven't. Look, that was good lead by both sides. They are tending to lead into one another's space and not work cohesively, but here's a chance.
Well, we've said all night they've been looking for some inspiration. And unfortunately, Ben Dixon, his kicking at goal has been anything but. There's Ian Dicker, the Hawthorn president. Made a fair bit of noise about where he thought this match should be played. Wellman. Peveril, the runner on the wing, gets there easily. Barnard leading into the pocket. McCabe with him. Did he push him? It appeared that way initially, at least. Lekis cleaning it up. Chick. Oh, dear. Just dropped it. Eventually, they're pinged.
Well, I don't care who's on the bottom of that pack. I still reckon or believe that there's although it's the letter of the law, it's a pretty tough call. Brian Sheen, they're indicating that he dragged the ball back underneath him, but, well, it's just a tough one to call on players who are really 50-50 contest here. The ball's bobbing around. There it is. And there he is. McCabe did drag it back in. So, as I said, it's the letter of the law, but frustrating at times.
It is tough, isn't it? When you even though, as you said, it is the letter of the law, you drag it under and then suddenly it's locked in there and you can't do anything about it. Barnard made the recovery from the injury. See if it affects his kicking at goal.
There's a difference. One of them.
No problems at all.
Well, after that goal, it's on a bit. There's a bit of a tussle going out there. Both sides don't mind giving a bit of verbal. You'd like the odds to be a bit more even.
Bachoni looked like the Incredible Hulk there with turning green.
He's got Matthew Lloyd's t-shirt on.
Of course, their old teammate Barnard, the Hawks know him pretty well. and they'd be getting into him.
Well, the AFL have talked about alternative strips. I don't think that's what Wayne Jackson's had in mind. It came about because of this. Barnard kicked the goal and they all went to give him a bit.
And you thought there was a bit of a look-alike for the incredible Hulk Hutto.
Yeah. Well, this is why. Dr. David Banner, wasn't it, or something like that?
Well, he's an old teammate of a lot of these
Bruce
guys, is Paul Barnard. And
McVeigh out of the middle. Smith paddling it back. Chick. Barlow. Look at the intensity and the attacking of the Bombers, and eventually it wins out. Now it doesn't. Lord going very wide. Good kick, actually. Found some space, found Bowyer. We've seen him in this part, and again, he takes a long time to get rid of it. The Bombers were pushing numbers back quickly. Dixon has to go. No whistle. Rabanauskis. Lucas. Bowyer pushed back, but Lucas had eyes for it. Johnson tripped over his own feet, but he did well enough to recover and fire it in for the Lloyd lead. Oh, look at the loose man. They're everywhere. Rioli, very hard for the Hawk defence. McCabe fighting a one-man battle.
well, you just rewind that a little bit. And unfortunately, Glenn Bowyer didn't see the options that were presenting themselves quick enough and kicked the 50-50s. The rebound out of defence for the Bombers was decisive, as it often is. And Lloyd pushing well up the ground. He's not afraid to do that. It creates a vacuum of space behind him. And this time it was Dean Rioli, and Luke McCabe was really up against it there. Paul Barnard, his direct opponent, used his body well, bought Dean Rioli some time, and a set shot is what is the consequence.
And Bowyer off the ground getting a clear message from Peter Swab. And that's the consequence right there in front of you. Dean Rioli puts through his second goal. 13-9 plays 5-5.
Gerard, I'm interested in your view. I mean, obviously the Hawks have really hurt themselves. There's a replay. Really a great mark by Lucas. He's been playing well, but how much of it is created by Hawthorn's, disposal errors, and how much have they helped Essendon in this situation tonight?
I'm not sure what the answer to that is, Fish, but I know that the Hawthorn disposal skills just have been ordinary, to say the least.
Well, Peter Swab.
Yeah, not a lot to smile about in there.
Hung the phone up.
Lots of work to do for the Hawks. I mean, one of the questions coming in was, you just cannot keep winning games of footy, and it's difficult to keep up the momentum, but you suspect that coming into a match like this, intensity is not going to be an issue.
Well, the Bombers have put light at that, haven't they? They've just won so many games in a row. Again, their intensity, as you mentioned, you would have thought the Hawthorn would have had a problem with it. The Bombers certainly haven't. They're getting numbers around the footy now, but again, actually using it has been another thing altogether.
And you would be frustrated if you were playing the Hawthorn side as they pick up the free kick. Trent Crowe will be able to deliver this one into the forward line. Maybe the Hawks just haven't dealt with their intensity that they've come into this match.
They've got to control it, settle it down outside the 50 like this, wait for the opportunity to present themselves, because they're bombing away. Out of shot at the moment is a very flooded Essendon Hawthorn forward line with Essendon players. Hers one of the main culprits, pushing hard and just filling holes. That's better. That's what they've got to do. Just wait for the opportunity to present when the play's been held up.
Another change about to take place for the Hawks. Bowyer apparently has learned his lesson. And he's going to replace Aaron Lord. Meantime, Joel Smith needs to break the drought at the other end and convert a tough shot, but it doesn't look like that's going to help.
What Hawthorn don't want, and certainly don't need tonight, is a major blowout. They really need to
here's a
grit their
chance.
teeth.
Oh, Clark just left it behind. Yeah, you're right. Jacobs out to the line. Bowyer keeps it in. This time he released it much quicker. Well,
Look downfield.
Johnson Oh, yes, just gets Hartford, but again, it's very wide. They had to pinpoint Dixon in amongst 3 Bombers, and he did it well. He's had a few shots at goal tonight, Ben Dixon. He's only managed to kick 1 goal, 1 and 1 out on the full.
Yeah, he wouldn't be happy with the kicking. He's normally very reliable in that area, and this will test him. He had a shot a few minutes earlier from a bit closer in, similar angle. As you see the replay, good pair of hands. But this will really test him, Gerard.
Well, no doubt it's a tough shot at goal, but I think the positive for the Hawks is that Ben Dixon has continued to be one of the few forwards that has won on the night in the individual one-on-ones.
Sets it up instead. And unfortunately, the result is something similar, the ball out of bounds.
He's had 9 kicks, 6 of those have been from marks, and I think that's been his strength. He has continued to lead. There's been no supply of any quality whatsoever into their forward line.
Just numbers everywhere around the ball. Impossible almost to find space for the Hawks. Baccioni tries. Bombers appealing.
Look, that's indicative. A lot of the some of the earlier contests tonight, we see red and black all over the player on the ground, and a couple of cases been a Hawthorn player. They're fierce at it, and it's a trademark of this Bomber lineup.
Well, at the moment, there's only 5 Bombers not inside defensive 50. So that shows the difficulties the Hawthorn forward line have to try and overcome here. Wren, second time was pretty good. Johnson banged it onto the boot. And the Hawk cheer squad were cheering behind the goals, but maybe they're just cheering everything at this stage. Margin is 50 points. Was that kicking in danger? Wasn't too much in it, really. Hurd streaming out of defence. It's a stark contrast at the other end of the ground with space for the Essendon forwards to work in. Rioli couldn't hang on to Joel Smith. So the Hawks breaking to the outer side, and with a loose man on the overlap. Dixon didn't meet his target again. It was Bowyer, and he couldn't keep it in. And that is just a summing up of the whole situation for the Hawks tonight.
Yeah, look, it's at times it's just decision making, and you know, a lot of these guys like to wind the clock back a few seconds and have a chance again, because I don't think Ben would do that 9 times out of 10. That was the once, and the handball didn't hit its target.
Well, the Bombers have pretty much seen off any challenge from Hawthorn. It's 7 minutes of actual play remaining in this third quarter. Unless the Hawks can bang on 3 goals perhaps before three-quarter time, you would think the game is safely in Essendon's hands. Wren trying hard. And here's Thompson, and this is what happened last time when they kicked the goal. Thompson was able to provide the lead and take the mark, and can shoot from just on 50. Nine possessions tonight for Nathan Thompson, and you can see there he's used the ball pretty well.
He has. Look, he's stuck to the task pretty well, Nathan Thompson, and he's been thrown around a bit tonight.
Well, he's covered the distance. Was there illegal shepherding? Brian Sheen says all clear.
Well, that's a great kick from Nathan Thompson. I would have thought that was just about outside his accuracy field, but he covered the distance well. And Sean Wren delivering it. They need a lift from Sean Wren. He just hasn't been able to get into this match. Started off with the dominating the tap work in the ruck battles, but they weren't getting the ball away from the centre. 2 goals now to Nathan Thompson.
So the Hawks are boxing on here. 6-7 playing 13-9.
Interestingly, 9 times Hawthorn have been inside 50 in this quarter to Essendon's 4. Unable to capitalise entirely as yet.
Barnes got the tap initially, and now they're out of the middle again. Hardwick.
Great off the back line. The half back line is Hardwick.
Oh, Moorcroft played it to his own advantage. And he kept on going. Provides the opportunity for Lloyd. Just out of his grasp.
Centre bounces, you've just got to be able to keep Damien Hardwick away from the football. He comes charging through. He takes no prisoners. And you saw on that occasion he gets plenty of his share of the ball forward.
Robran doing the ruck work. into the dangerous passage. McCabe had teammates running past. Lekes. Always there was a hook on the outlet there. And it's Johnson, as I mentioned. Quite an impressive player. That kick, not the greatest in the world, but it's all right for McFarlane, who did really well and kept them going. The kick from Harford. Crode just got underneath it. Henneman almost marked it. Crode battled on. Barnes. It was pretty clever in the end. Peveril was there. Plenty of Bombers there, in fact. And the disposal was excellent for Lucas. Lekes.
Peveril's gone on to Harford.
Back for Barnes. Hawks trying to get back to cover the Essendon players now. Oh. Well, they can recover from their mistakes all right tonight, the Bombers. Ramanauskas, 13-9, plays 6-7 here at Colonial. Getting late in this third quarter. And the Bombers, that's not some of their better work for the night.
No, look, it's been a more intriguing quarter. Hawthorn have had arguably more of the play so far. And some of the matchups there have been tossing them around a bit. McCabe still on Barnard. Peveril, as you mentioned, has gone to Harford, and Salmon and Dixon has been a tough matchup all night.
And Chick coming off now, boys. Not the best nights for Daniel Chick at the moment.
Jason Johnson. It was a good touch from McGrath to set that up. Barnes, McVeigh weighted down, had time, and bombs away off the left. Bombs away, McVeigh, and kicks it.
Well, plenty of time there for the Bombers. McVeigh just had time. He didn't think he had time. He went to kick it and rush it, and found he could steady and kick around the corner. But they're very good in this situation. They centre it. It's in the hot spot. Always a chance there. See, he just paused for a second, but he wasn't under necessary pressure. That's not a good sign. The Hawks are ringing the changes at the moment. Just trying to find something. Anything will do.
So it's back to 50 points. O'Farrell in the ruck. Charged at Barnes, but Barnes it was that won it. Harford, Wellman. Is that a mark?
There are going to be a few Richmond players out there knowing exactly what the Hawks are going through at the moment.
Absolutely, they can. Every time they smell a hint of a challenge, the Bombers just do what they can to quell it. And quell it they have in the most efficient and effective style tonight. Ramanauskas could have got a free. Barnes. Those no-look handballs, he's a master at them. Barnard, this is McGrath in his first game. What a game to come into as a late change. He replaced Fletcher. And he's done well. Lace out for Lloyd. 70 metres out from goal. Lucas is back there now. The Hawks have flooded. McVeigh might be a danger again. He's pushed down to the goal square. The Bombers going with the short stuff.
A lot of people watching tonight's game will be asking how deep is this well of talent at Essendon with some of these kids coming in and
a bloke called Hurd
applying themselves very well. But you come into a game like tonight, and when it's the quality of side that Essendon's got, it gives you a great chance to settle into league football a bit more comfortably.
Yep, Piccioni. He's got Clark running to the left here now. He's running through centre half forward. Piccioni, well, he's waited so long that the Bombers have been able to push back. He's had to go very wide for Harford. Thompson's a short option, and he goes for him. This time he's too far to score for sure. Surely he needs to get it moving quickly. Go down. He could kick down to Crode, who now leads out. I think the opportunity might be missed.
The Hawks forwards have got to push through the space, make a lead. Well, there's plenty of lead options. There's a few options here.
Well, it wasn't a great kick. Harford needed something to bounce their way. O'Farrell, what was that? Solomon. I think you can safely say it's just not the Hawks' night. Barnard. Look at the runners. McVeigh, Lloyd playing as a midfielder, giving him an option 30 metres ahead, but he goes longer for Hurd. He could just about kick this, James. It's a vacant square. Look at Jimmy unwind. He's teed off, and it's gone almost all the way. Oh. And Lloyd finishes it off.
What a great run, Anthony. Fantastic. Lloyd just followed up on that lead he did before.
You're right, Dipper. He ran from half back line there, and he ran aggressively forward. And he'll be gasping a little bit, but that was just decisive football from the Bombers. They're a scary looking outfit. Their disposal has been 100% tonight, and they get back quick, look up quick. What's the option? Lloyd's favoured side wasn't able to complete the mark, but was all over it. and got just desserts for his work rate there, Gerard. He works so hard, and well, that's his 6th goal.
He's been a dominant player. Like a kick it to him. He looks like he's just having a cruise through the through the park, doesn't he? But
always does.
He's making it happen.
He's still managed 14 possessions, James Hurd. Here's the Hawks then out of the middle. Barlow for the space for Thompson.
He'd be 1+ tonight, I think, for the Hawks. Through midfield, he hasn't played a lot of footy this year. He has got plenty of run and good pace.
Barlow had to go sideways. Around the body in the end he went, looking for McFarlane. Ramanauskas has outrun him consistently tonight.
Sometimes I've just identified not an unwillingness, but they're not really going the first option as well as they could, and they pay a price.
You can get all the details. Won't be many Hawk supporters logging on to i7sport.com.au, but I reckon there might be a few Bombers tonight.
And once again, it's out of bounds.
Just look at Hawthorn's bench here, boys. You've got Wren and Barker and Chick. I mean, they're obviously trying to get something off the bench, as you mentioned, Paul, at the moment.
Any injury problems with Daniel Chick, Dipper?
No, not at all. I just think one of those nights, but expect him back on the ground in the last quarter.
Lord released Johnson. Once again, he used it very well.
He's a clever young man, Brett Johnson, and he's pretty composed for a young player. He hasn't played a lot of league footy, but the club really feel he's got a very bright future, and it's in instances like that where he's got good vision, found the right target, and Glenn Bay is not, as I said earlier in the game, he's really improved his foot skills. He should be confident about kicking the goal from here.
Well, he's had a fair bit of it tonight. And he's done that one all right.
I reckon even Big Kev would have trouble getting us sighted at the moment, Hutto, but we're going to do our darndest because that was a fair kick. So good on to Glenn Bayer. He's made a couple of shocking errors tonight, just in his disposals, but he's going to learn from it. Like every one of us that have played footy, we have your ups and downs on the way up. You've got to learn how to play in these big matches. Get less time. First option, generally the best one.
So less than a minute to go in this third quarter. Once again, the margin is 50 points. Barnes again decisively out of the middle. A high one. Punched away from Lloyd, but McGrath, can he kick a goal in his first game? Well, he's got a point. At least he scored.
He's been very clean, McGrath. He's been rather impressive in his first outing. Great signs for him and for a bright future. Well, the one clear break the Hawks got from the full-back. Unfortunately, the goal umpire hadn't finished waving the flag.
Well, that just shows their domination, doesn't it? An average of just under 40 points at three-quarter time, and they're just going to boost that average tonight. 10 seconds remaining. Johnson gets another possession. O'Farrell gets another mark. It's all pretty elementary, though, because there's not going to be time for them to get a score. So any semblance of a challenge has been snuffed out by the mighty Bombers. And Kevin Sheedy would be a pretty proud man. 65% success rate over his long career of almost 500 games as coach. And we'll chalk this up for another one.
Well, we can go down to the ground where the Dipper has got Terry Danaher.
Yeah, good mate of ours,
Bombers.
Gerard, TD down here. Well, the pressure's been on from the first bounce. Very impressive Bombers tonight.
Oh, it's been terrific. Dipper so far anyway, although we expected Hawthorn to come back in that third quarter, which they did. I think it was 4 goals to 3. We just got up in that quarter. But I think we didn't use the ball all that well early, but I think we're starting to get the ball down a little bit lower into our forward line, and I guess hopefully we can finish it off now.
Now, were you getting itchy feet during the week? Are we going in those revivals? Or, you know?
Oh, no, not at all, Dippy. You know me, mate. But no, look, we've been just wrapped with the way the guys have approached. We've gang tackled them and put a lot of pressure on them, which is what we got to do to win these games, mate. That's what we did to you.
Yeah, okay, you, Terry. All right. Catch up with you soon. And just on Daniel Chick there, boys, I did check with the medical staff. Look, he's got a hamstring injury, and that's why he's off the ground.
So the injury toll continues to mount for both teams. Crawford joining Chick on the injury list for the Hawks. And we know they're without their spine. The last quarter underway. Barnes, big kick, a high kick it was, made it tough for the forwards, but Corey McGrath quick to his feet. Went backwards a long way to John Barnes.
Moves like Michael Long.
Solomon kicks it not so well. And the mark accepted by Luke McCabe.
Dipper, you're one of the all-time great Hawks. What do you think about the performance? Have they just been overawed coming into this match?
Well, obviously in the first quarter, mate, they were just walked on there. And as we see the turnover once again, Gerard, and Barnard's going for goal.
Call it, Dipper.
Point.
Oh, beautifully done, Dipper.
Thanks very much. Look, yeah, Gerard, the expectations towards this game has been big throughout the weeks, and you know, overall, it may be not, but their skill level tonight has just been terrible and haven't been able to get their flow and run tonight.
And nothing's changed here either. Bolton, Dent gets another try, just gets the hand clear in time to release Clark, who we've seen a lot of this year, but not too much of tonight. Bowyer controls it, and this time the release is pretty good. Barker off the ground in the third quarter, we heard, which was a surprise really, but he's kicked that well to Thompson.
Got some problems coming up, the Hawks. They're going to have to face some challenges with Shane Crawford. He's going to be out for weeks. We're not sure exactly how many. Daniel Chick, if the hamstring, there's a couple at least.
So they need them too, Gerard. Got Port Adelaide next week over here. Strengthen the ground level.
So Nathan Thompson, one of the better Hawks tonight. 12 possessions, 8 marks, and now 3 goals, if that's through. It is. Great kick from Nathan Thompson.
Yeah, certainly it was. He's really improved his kicking, as you indicated earlier. He hasn't had his kicking boots on this year to this point in time, but that was a great finish by the big fella. He's really stuck to his task tonight. Interestingly, though, some of the set shots, most of the set shots the Hawks have had last quarter and this one have been pushed deep to the boundary, across the boundary, and they've had to kick well to convert. So that's a good finish.
He's been the only one that's been able to do it, really.
Even looked like it.
So there's a bit of money on that bench, isn't there, with Chick and of course Crawford off, and Wren and Dixon. Bit of quality.
Any problems with Ben Dixon at all, Dipper?
No, not at all, Gerard. I just think this is going to give him a bit of a break here.
Harford got them out of the middle. Probably wouldn't have finished it off in the way he would have liked there. Crode being harassed by Robran. The umpire said it was all fair, and it was. Barlow, he couldn't release the handball where he would have liked. Robran, Jason Johnson ran into the brick wall and then ran right through it. Spun around, found a hole.
Well,
Don't mind.
What else has he got in his repartee?
A torpedo, I betcha.
Well, we deserve it. We came to see a show, and James Hird, unfortunately, he lets us down there. Just a boring, disciplined drop punt, which leads to a goal.
Well, there you go.
Well, that's not bad.
Point.
But it missed.
Well, the cheek of the man, not giving us a torpedo when we were calling for it.
Very ordinary. Get the runner out to him, Dipper.
He's got a great bag of tricks, James Hird. He's just so good in those one-on-ones.
Johnson going wide. Raiden Tallis. 12 possessions tonight. 8 kicks, 4 handballs. And Johnson, we've mentioned a number of times, 23 possessions and 8 marks. Well, they're playing kick to kick, those two.
Well, you'd like to see them running a bit more. They've got time and space. Raiden Tallis just hesitated there. That's fine.
Well, the Bombers have
But
flooded
chance to push back
on the extreme here because all their players are ahead of the ball. Bowyer. Oh, just.
I think Dean Solomon was very kind to Aaron Lord in that
He was licking his
situation.
lips, wasn't he?
I looked like it.
St. Vincent's had already been called.
Yeah, we went very wide then, but that's much better. Barlow over the top can get a man inside 50.
Good time to plug St John's, who do a great job at football venues around the country. But this will test Luke McCabe from out this side distance. But credit to him, he's pushed down. He was an option inside in the back line. Oh dear.
He missed. He went for Barlow.
Well,
there's Hurdy. And young Forster Knight taking the mark. Lloyd's up on a wing, leading for it. And he gets a chance here. McGrath to add some support with a good, strong overhead mark.
very impressive young man, this bloke.
Well, give him his... Oh, he's got 50 as well.
Came off the rookie list last year.
Aaron Lord doesn't get a lot of opportunities in defence. He's been great up forward for Hawthorn this year, but last couple of weeks, a little bit off the boil, and A little bit overzealous there. You've just got to know when to let go. And held on too long. That 50 was there.
So McGrath with a run up to suit his name.
Might nod his head if he misses.
Let's see if he's as accurate. Yeah.
I wonder if he is as good with the tongue as the abuse as his namesake.
Settle.
The Ashes coming up too on Channel 7. That is deadly accurate. That's like his namesake.
Which are very harsh there on Glenn McGrath. Hutto.
You're kidding, aren't you?
But a great kick to the young man playing his first game, Corey McGrath. And
What a talent pool, Gerard.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
Frightening.
Quite unbelievable. But
It's a great way to cut your teeth in the big time, isn't it, Gerard?
couldn't tell you. No idea.
Well, Dixon's back on, Gerard, then gone straight down the back line to see if he can get a few kicks down there on Paul Barnard. No, on, sorry, Corey McGrath.
Yeah, they just changed the matchup at the last minute. Rioli just back on the ground as well. Just misses his man. Peveril was good for them early. Lucas also did a couple of nice things. Probably didn't quite have the impact on the game that he looked like he was going to have early, but they were terrific. This is McGrath again. Goes for Lloyd. Just forced under it. Graham's persisted. Bolton. I think he's missed.
Gee, the goal umpire showed a bit of dash.
He did.
Yeah, very impressive. But that was a great sweep, Bolton. I think he just hit the contest very hard. Held his ground.
Very important that the goal umpire runs all the way across. Well, it's very important, you know that.
Should have the clock on him.
Dixon from half back looks up, doesn't see a heck of a lot except Essendon jumpers.
It's the story of the night. It's just been the story of the night. They're just finding the red and black very well indeed.
Oh, I heard misses a target. It was meant for Lucas. There's nothing inaccurate about the kick. Here's Lloyd again. It was touched off the boot. He won't know that. Ball up.
Well, Luke McKay's asking the question because he was pinged earlier in the night for dragging the ball under, but in this occasion, the ball was touched off the boot. He took the mark. He didn't drag it underneath him. It was stacks on the middle, Anthony.
Another boys just slipping off there.
Another injury for the Bombers.
Actually, and Mark McVeigh down here as well, getting a bit of a touch up as well.
We don't like to see injuries to very good players.
We know what you mean, Dipper.
A pit stop, in other words. Get his legs rubbed.
We're all running for the bench.
Joel Smith, long kick. Barker couldn't get on the end of it.
Good tackle.
Jacobs, great tackle. And again, just a fumble at the crucial stage. And the Bombers can wisp it from one end to the other. And Moorcroft doesn't mind a run, doesn't mind a bounce. He's going to get some shepherding from Solomon. It was solid shepherding too. And he kicked it really well. Rioli looked up and ran into Ben Dixon. Kicked it somewhat blindly, and Thompson getting back to help out. Heavily disguised as Luke McCabe, who kicks it into the middle of the ground. And now they can go through centre half forward. McFarlane doubling back Mark Johnson at the loop on over the top.
He's hurt himself as well, just twisted his ankle, I think.
Unbelievable. The Bombers going down in enormous numbers here. They lost Blumfield earlier in the night. At one stage, Barnard was off, but he's come back on. And now Mark Johnson going down. Still Hawthorn are completely ineffective. I reckon half of them could go off and they'd still be winning.
Well, you get a fair argument for that at the moment, Hutto. It's just they're just unconvincing going forward. The Hawthorn boys are pushing back, but they're not pushing back deep enough on occasion. We've got a cluster of about 6 or 7 in the centre of the ground at the moment. And they're not decisive in any of their decision making.
Lucas in for McGrath. He's got tackled from behind by his own teammate.
Their zone, Hawthorn's zone is just way too close to the man on the mark.
Damien Hardwick also limping. Moorcroft backing back.
Falling off the ground.
Terry Danaher might have to pull the jumper back on the way they're going. Rioli around the corner.
Lloyd's free.
Lloyd, he'll get it.
And that is the difference. just to highlight a couple of the problems that Hawthorn had. They're prepared to give the first option. They don't sit there and think about it. It's either on or it's not on. Rioli goes back. Lloyd makes the break and he honours it. I was watching
Very true.
Trent Crode in the third quarter. He made 4 leads that should have been honoured. And if you don't give them to the player up the ground, eventually you just stop leading. And that's when the run stops in the forward line.
Yeah, it's very true, Gerard. You become disenchanted. You wonder about your efforts, and that's right. Regardless of the consequences, you've got to honour your first effort.
Well, what a night for Matthew Lloyd. Currently he's got 6 straight. Make that 7 straight.
Oh, he's looking for the umpire. The umpire can't find someone.
He needs the all clear from Brian Sheehan. Is that all clear, Brian? Now
Look at that.
Run backwards.
That is poetry in motion.
In position. Yes!
Well, is it a sorry state of affairs, Gerard, when the goal umpire is providing us with most of the entertainment in the last quarter?
Oh, it's been a disappointing night, except for just having a look at some of these kids that are playing for Essendon.
Yes.
It's, you know, they have come to the party and they've played well. Hawks, they'll have to just put it behind them. They've got no other option.
It's been a bit like one of those heavyweight title fights tonight, hasn't it? All over in the first round. Hurd out of the middle, up to full forward. Graham, Ben Dixon, Johnson.
No one would have anticipated this, Hutto. It's just the Bombers have gone about their business and just dissected the Hawthorn game. A lot has to be said about the preparation that's gone into
absolutely.
it. The matchups are fantastic, and well, the Bombers don't question their intensity or their willingness to want to go back-to-back this year.
Barker, Johnson. Again, tough for the Hawthorn forwards. It was Dent that was in position but couldn't take the mark. And Peverill getting the Bombers away again. Solomon. Lloyd just couldn't hang on to the end of it. Look at James Hurd. What's he got for us this time? A low bouncing kick to the man on one leg. Mark Johnson. And a ball up the decision.
I think he's pretty generous there,
Yeah.
the umpire, because it didn't look as if Mark Johnson got rid of that ball too well.
Well, the Hawks have persisted with Mark Graham on Matthew Lloyd tonight. Peverill's done a good job on Harford after doing a pretty good one on Chick as well.
Hardwick off and Henneman back on.
And Smith has gone to Hurd, the original matchup from the opening bounce. It's a credit to Joel Smith while I mention him, because he's brought his football such a long way that they've entrusted that big job on him early in the night. Didn't quite work out as well as they would have liked, but he has come a long way indeed.
50,701 people here at Colonial Stadium.
So we've cracked the 50.
Well, history-making night for Colonial Stadium.
And we've also found out that Colo hasn't got a mercy rule here, because they would have blown the siren a lot earlier if he had have had one.
Well, no one would have anticipated a result like this. It's back to the drawing board for the Hawks to find out what they have to do to take themselves to the next level and be a serious competitor against a side like the Bombers.
Baccioni backed himself pretty well there, and they're away. Well, I'm not sure where they're away to, though. They don't seem to be going anywhere. Tallis.
That's all right. It's just got to set something up. It's not.
Oh, yeah, that's not.
Trouble.
Oh, he's just got clear. Baccioni. Lekas. Finally, they've got someone out wide on the other side to swing it out to. Bowyer. Back with the flight, Graham, Thompson, and Rioli just takes it away.
Well, in that situation with Graham running back with the flight of the ball back to the play, it is certainly a record attendance now, 50,701. Beats the Geelong Essendon match of last year of 47,000.
Same result too in that match, if my memory serves me correct. And Essendon win.
Look at Hurdy.
And look at James Hurd. Joel Smith. McCabe, Johnson the tackler that time. Mark Graham, what a nightmare for him. He's battled on, but Lloyd's kicked 7.
Look, it's interesting when you say this about a guy who's had 7 kicked on him, but he hasn't been terrible tonight. He's been under siege. He's done stuck to his task pretty manfully, and he can probably hold his head up pretty high.
Farrell going very wide. Barker in his favourite pocket. Doesn't have a shot. Instead goes even wider for Daniel Harford. May not have been convinced that he could make the distance, Barker, but he has shown that he could kick it from there. And they've made a bit of a mess of it. McGrath keeping it in. No, he didn't.
Well, again, a set shot opportunity for goal comes from close to the boundary line. We just, as far as Hawthorn's concerned, haven't been able to hit the corridor with any confidence tonight. Bombers have shut that shot down.
Complete whitewash of the Bombers over the Hawks tonight at Colonial Stadium. Such a build-up, such a disappointment for everyone except the Bomber fans, who of course will be anything but disappointed. They've been superb tonight under the circumstances. So many players out injured. They've got more injuries tonight, and they've continued to uncover youngsters who will be part of this team, which you would think would be a force for so many years to come. The only problem is going to be able to holding them all there at Windy Hill, giving them opportunities. Lord taking on 3 Bombers, and in the end he's going to get pinged.
In trouble.
You had to feel for him on that occasion. Made a bit of a meal of it, but
yeah, but there was the kick from McCabe that put him under the pressure. Yep. McCabe wasn't under pressure. Unfortunately, it's a bit high for Lord, and he found himself in trouble.
That's one of the worst kicks for the Bombers for the night. It came from Barnard. Barker on the fast break, but he's got nothing to go. He's going to have to take Moorcroft on. Sean Wren, we haven't seen much of him really as far as making an impact on the game goes. That's a pretty good kick though. Trent Crowe, who's been starved of opportunities, takes the mark.
Well, he's just got to have a shot from here, Gerard, because it comes down to an issue of percentage. Let's face it, this stage of the game, every goal's going to count for the Hawks.
Well, the other option is to try and find another player closer to goal, and the likelihood of that is minimal the way that they've been passing the ball tonight. But Sean Wren, disappointed he hasn't had more of a go on that forward line tonight, particularly when there was competition out in the ground.
It swings back and then swings away. So things not improving for the Hawks. And they are now on 8-8-56. Essendon 17-13, 115.
When you sit down and review a game like this, particularly from Essendon's point of view, they'll be very pleased with their output from a side. Although the defence has held very firm, the guys that have come in and done a tremendous job. From Hawthorn's point of view, well, the task is up. The coach's up against it because they've got to find some positives out of this, and hopefully it's just been a dramatic learning curve for the Hawthorn team.
Well, I think the biggest positive is that you've won 8 in a row, and you realise that you're still a significant distance behind last year's premiers, and they're going to improve on what they put out last year. This isn't the premiership side. This is about 60% of that premiership side, so they've got a massive amount of work to do, and when you've won 8 in a row, perhaps you come back to earth with a thud.
16 possessions for Peverill tonight, and what about this man Sean Wellman? Another immaculate game. 20 possessions, 11 marks. Mark Bolton, another one of the youngsters, going for Lloyd. He's got 7. You just about put your 8th down already.
Well, you could, the way he's been kicking. He hasn't missed tonight. There's nothing to suggest he'll miss here. Look, he's just so good. Mark Graham just said he's back to the play, and he only needs a yard, Matthew Lloyd. He doesn't need much, and he's on the end of it.
I wonder if kids all around the country are throwing the grass in the air these days.
Let's hope they'd ever get artificial turf. Lloyd from 40.
Working for him.
Not a blemish on the copybook. 8 goals. What a start.
You know, Matthew Lloyd's output tonight almost matches out of the Hawks' total output, 8-8. So he's been very pleased with his performance tonight. He's worked hard. I mean, he's worked up and down the ground. He's not a stay-at-home full forward. No. He just works his opponent around. That's why his opponents have so much trouble maintaining any consistency with their approach to defending him. Very impressive.
Trent Crode now makes the journey into defence. Pick up Matthew Lloyd.
Yes, Hawthorn 8 goals 8. Matthew Lloyd 8 goals straight. 10 goals plus the margin. A miserable one for the Hawks tonight. They come here with such high expectations, as we all did, for a classic encounter. We've been treated to a classic performance, but it's been all one way. And it continues that way with the Bombers working it from Wellman for Jacobs. Hurd. Bolton taking the mark. Gets it moving. Barnes in good position to take this. He actually ran under the ball instead. Oh, Lloyd, what is he bothering handballing for? Lucas. Quick snap at goal. He's just offline.
Lloyd's kicked 8 himself, and if that was a goal, I'd be interested to see how many he's actually handed off.
Yeah, we're certainly involved in a couple earlier on.
And Dipper, for those people who have just come home on a Saturday night and are tuning in, there have been some knee injuries.
Yeah, one to Crawford, medial ligament at this stage. Also might have a bit of an ankle there as well. Of course, we've got Blumfield, look like a posterior cruciate, and that's the same sort of injury as Joe Mercedes. And Daniel Chick, also a hamstring there. So 3 main players will definitely miss the next 2+ rounds.
Crode bombing for the outer wing, bombing for Bowyer. But McGrath in his first game shows desperation equal to Glenn Bowyer's and kept it alive for his team. Jason Johnson become a prime midfielder for the Bombers. McGrath.
10th kick tonight, Hud. It's a pretty fair effort. He hasn't had a full match by any means.
Wasn't his best. Lord, as we said, playing in defence at the moment. Up the centre half forward.
Great punch.
Yeah, it was a terrific punch, and he goes back to get it again. You can see the desperation on his face, Aaron Henneman. The cheeks puffed out. The ball off for Peverill. In that awkward style, he gets his man, and so did Dent.
Well, he took the mark. If there's a free kick to be paid afterwards, it should be 50. Gary Moorcroft just getting the book out and sizing that one up for later on.
He'd dearly love to rub his face in it by kicking a goal, I guess.
Was this 50, Fish?
Well, we should have a look at it again, Gerard, because it was a line ball for sure. Well, no, look, that was it was their contest. He had to go at the body, and
he's very
made a good decision there.
He's very good at accentuating any contact, Moorcroft, isn't he?
He is. He certainly is.
Setting it up into the square, and that was a no contest that time.
Well, Nathan Thompson, that's his 9th mark for the night. He's kicked 3 goals.
Been all right.
He's had 13, 14 possessions, so pretty good output from the big fella.
Brett Johnson did well in the end to get it away after an initial fumble. Tallis. Graham now playing up forward. He's not getting any better. The traffic flows by Bowyer. Got the handball out. Barlow got clear.
One of the other glaring differences is Barker's on the lead.
Yep.
Good mark. Is the clean handling, Gerard. The Bombers are one grab, aren't they? Around their feet. Even in the air tonight, they've been fantastic.
It's been a different class of disposal skill out there tonight. And that's another issue, another positive, I think, that can come from the negative of this evening for Peter Swab, that maybe they have to isolate skill drills under pressure and get better at hitting targets, not when you're running around witches' hats, but when you're in heavy one-on-one duels.
A lot of it's of their own doing, isn't it, Gerard? I mean, you feel like their decision-making has been well off the mark tonight, and that impacts on your disposal as well. I believe at least, Hudson.
Yeah. Thanks, Fish. Robin kicking in. Finds Lucas doing some of your best work late tonight, Fish, which is terrific. Good to see you're still having a crack late in the last quarter. That was close to the line, just inside for James Hurd. Just a lazy 23 possessions for James Hurd. No goals. He missed his opportunity to kick a dead set easy one from 60, didn't he? When he should have loaded up the torpedo.
Let us all down. He has an obligation.
Forster Knight gets it back for Hurd. They all miss it. We're into the last minute, and that's probably the best news the Hawks have heard all night, because there's been just an outstanding performance by the Bombers.
nothing short of outstanding. Hutto, under the circumstances, lost Blumfield earlier, a great player. Every player they've brought into the team tonight has done a job, done a good job. No flaws in their game. It's rare you can pick a flaw. Yet Hawthorn have, as we've said on a number of occasions, got a lot of work to do as a consequence of tonight, Gerard.
Yeah, no doubt. They'll be back on top of the ladder, Hutto.
They are certainly back on top in the most conclusive way possible with it. Such an emphatic victory tonight. McGrath, can they get one more? One more for the road for the Bombers? Maybe not. Moorcroft having his own little battle with Tallis. Still time. Now the umpire, a bit of a spoil sport, calls for a bounce. Siren, it's all over. And we know there's a lot of Bomber fans here at Colonial Stadium, and they will go away very happy indeed. Comprehensive win, so many injuries, so many players not playing from last year's grand final, up against the team that were unbeaten going into tonight's game. And that scoreline says it all. 18-14, 122, as does the faces of the Hawthorn players. 8-9, 57. Bombers are back on top of the AFL ladder, back where they belong. No doubt about that. And as for the Hawks, disappointment and also some injury worries. Shane Crawford, their captain, went down with a knee injury, and they lost Daniel Chick as well. So some worrying signs for the Hawks. Let's get down to Dipper with Matthew Lloyd, who kicked 8 goals.
Yeah, thanks very much, Hutto. 8 goals tonight, mate. But more importantly, a terrific win from the first bounce.
You know, it's great. We had 7 or 8 premiership players out, but you know, when you've got that, you know, as you would have had back in the 80s, that winning mentality, it doesn't matter who takes the park. We're a hard physical side, and it showed out tonight.
And the young boys have just come to the side that, you know, want to keep their spot as well.
Yeah, I think that's what's great is a lot of them have played 50 or 62s games before they've broken in, and none of them let us down, and are fantastic.
And they're finding the ball at the moment nicely. You kick 8 straight today, I think.
Yeah, 8 straight tonight, which was good because they didn't kick too well last week. So, but more importantly, it's just great to have a good win because they're playing great footy, and we might be back on top, which is great.
Good on you, Matty. Good boy. Just a terrific effort by your boys tonight.
Well, look, it was. I mean, with the boys that we've got out and the young players we've been bringing into the side this year, it's, you know, I mean, I just really feel proud for them. And the senior players, they really know that they had a lot of young blokes to support, and I don't think either let each other down, to be honest.
There's something you said before the game that said, listen, this is your chance to stay in the side. The way they went out there from the first bounce, they just took on. Yeah, well, I mean, look, I think that, I mean, they've trained very, very hard. They've put a lot of work into their footy, and I mean, to see us sort of lamenting losing one each every week, we lose 1 or 2, and probably lost another one tonight, but we also start getting them back soon, so probably in the end it'll probably end up with a fairly good side coming into the second half of the year with a fair amount of freshness about them. Well, the dream come true. Full house here at Colonial, all the Bomber supporters and Hawk supporters here tonight. Well, so look, for the first time you probably know what it's like to go over to Adelaide and also go over to West Coast when it's a full house, and Sydney. So this is the first time we've ever achieved it, and it's great for the club. Good on you, mate. Thanks very much, Kevin.
The Premiership flag, our boys who play this great of game are always striving for glory and fame. See the Bombers fly up, they are the teams that don't play. They'll try their best, but they can't get hit as the Bombers fly up.
What a moment for the Bombers and young Corey McGrath after playing his first game. That's the initiation they all get, stuck in the middle of the song and all sorts of things thrown over them.